We are used to hearing some of these things, but it's quite unfortunate. But you're better than, and I'm not sure say will be a surprise because it is what it is.
Yeah.
And into you move the BI no dema. He advocated said there is the need for the state to stand up to people or more emergency or use politics as a profiteering enterprise. Our model we no mufie and yes and the year politics and then yes and the year ban ye de to me a sheni pansa say obedi adomanim na yenye nhwehye betima benefiting nipa, but where people take advantage and seize the opportunity because a lot of the masses are very ignorant about politics and they a man for a try just to educate people to understand what politics is really about and you know na Nsemnusia, nipa na yewi omo mom na esi abonten in defense of these individuals who they don't even know you. He doesn't even know your name. On foul ho whether say ubedi chese. I think see it me na ye tutu ye near ya some of these things, you know, it will be a thing of the past.
All right, and yan komo no edoso, but ye bayere ye ho say corruption cases na ya prekese. Yes, edoso krado do. Asemba Ukraine. Anyway, yaba shana ya fa no baako na fe yetimi akwen, but I mean him say innocent and ra wutie attorney general kakra my update on the oral currently as we speak, you know, oral cases, you know, near one more eye investigations ho a wombetimi amaye ho enkomo a year I think 17 or so. 11 investigations concluded, 3 cases on trial, 5 under investigation so far. Cases are including investigations are a buffer stock scandal, Drake procurement, SML, Ghana Revenue Authority deal, ongoing investigations, all African Games, mathematical set, Akuffo Addo, education ministry, Ghana Fe, Bank of Ghana, Niger, yes, no, no, na ye de camera bako, the huge trim with me, estate, money ye, Nina, issues are and Attorney General, boss. So, and say, so far, Ivan, you can see a fan bako and her breno.
Yeah.
And see a canning in elbow, more buffer stock with ye, now Bank of Ghana, near under investigations, no, but the Oma conclude your drip procurement in Okorano, say, and also you see invade taxes, conform ye, machines in Libya, alpha process Muntino, so woman to your tax a crown ma buy. It is one of the fryer. Say a cadrip who no muyi yo, say and also a carbine the ano who no encrofu yo, and one also crano a shadow so I say trial no a chassis. So and no Attorney General updates on all the corrupt cases that say investigate so far.
Yeah, the time I mention what's here for. Now mention the legendary Mr. KKD. Baby Obia Mechiano.
But Obama Kisolo Mama wife na in come back no Majano.
Mechiano. Because I think that he's one of the people who motivate you on daily basis for me to call you, send you tests to check on you. You know, those things don't normally happen. But he has time for such things are very, very, very important. So we will be a Mechiano. And Attorney General a press conference. And then I think say Asemba over the years, and now people are worried about the slow pace some of these criminal offensive proceedings, you know, and sometimes in cases like this, and they are very tricky. And it's one proceeding meticulously, no one gather evidence. I bet me standing the test of prosecution in the court of law. Now we go there with assumptions, suppositions, like whatever. At the end of the day, you know, you feel at the court to prove your case. So it is in that spirit, and you need to do a meticulous, you know, detailed search to unearth all the critical facts. Now, bet me, and I can present it to court. Add evidential value, you know, will be very, you know, very important. I'll bet me approval, active conviction our court. And the Anra who updates no by now. I have listened to a lot of people who on various radio and apart me bana metie Attorney General surround them radio so Asemba no radio so na ye can no press conference and he's pronouncing people guilty in as a forum. You see, these are narrow minds who limit their mind just to the legal aspect of this whole criminal proceedings. Yeah, the Attorney General is not just a legal agent. He's also an agent of governance and an agent of politics.
Yeah.
So his role is multifaceted. A court Attorney General will limit himself to issues of legality, go to court and adjudicate the matter. But his role is a multifunctional role and all play. Apart from being Attorney General in charge of prosecution, you know, he's also an agent of a government. He's also a politician. And he owns it a duty to the people of this country to tell them what is happening. You understand? Okay. So the mere fact that he's out there telling people the state of affairs, you know, that is also another duty he owns to the people of this country. So he is not pronouncing anybody guilty, but the people of this country our right to know at every point in time, because my culture says governance and somewhere few people question then it happens, then the citizens will wait for the results. It should be an open enterprise. Everything that is involved at any stage, any point in time, the people must be in the know. So what our Attorney General sought to do yesterday, you know, was in line with that ultimate responsibility only to the people of this country to let them know what is happening. He didn't pronounce anybody guilty, but he was rather informing the people of this country to know, to be in the know with the state of affairs. How our name Koso now all country say the docket, everything is ready. We are now proceeding to court. So where lies or pronounced will be guilty, those kind of way, you know, politics, governance, and the legal aspect, you know, they are three. So you need to cover all these aspects. So I think people should get it right. But you see, Akuffo Addo's presidency will forever remain a dark cloud on the political conscience of this country forever. And this buffer stock scandal way the epic center of an economic crime against poor students and the people of this country. About issues of corruption anyway. No, people tag some of us as anti-government enthusiasts who go on TV preaching and whipping public sentiment against the government of the day because they perceive that maybe we didn't like the government. That wasn't the case. Because the president at the time, you know, had an ultimate responsibility to ensure exerting certain control measures, mechanism, prevented these people from stealing from the state. But it got to a point that the floodgates were open and everybody felt emboldened that they could do anything. And unfortunately for us, people who were put to some of these sensitive positions were not even sensible. And they were foolishly stealing as if there was no tomorrow. Because how can one person sit? Yes, they were foolishly stealing. Yeah, because I know I have studied the life of criminals. They are very smart, very intelligent people. It will take like 10 years for you to know. And I'm just saying, even stealing, they didn't even know how to steal. Because how can you steal? And the money you are stealing goes through a financial system, a certain portal, digital, your friends are print, trace back, people can check. Obviously, we need answer. And again, the companies these people open as shell companies, you know, they use their names, their wife's name, concubines, people who were related, and these transfer were being transferred into their personal account. It tells us that these people were intellectually, you know, very dumb. And you ask yourself, how did they even get opportunity to be there? And again, the ultimate thing has to do with morality. We are dealing with the state, the enterprise, at the time a man for here, even the buffer stock now, supply go to the secondary schools. Go ahead, I went to Techiman, I'm a classmate which are there or Techiman. Fortunately, I feel an uncle nobody. Now, Obi, we are not such a man. So, and crank it while we are and a papa no real musica, and a yere, and so crom for yere, the beer one jim. On the top, your friend is saying handbag, hold on, because Attorney General say for 16 expensive handbags and makeup boxes. Says Obi only now who crom for yere or why we're home there. Oh no, on your money crew carbon tia. I never china your friends say flash screen best 7 bobo modem baby a free bow ni obeti me dance or no modem was say because you crom for quite anything be but the bia one ni gem I know obeti me akoko china we aponche we say no there so that because obia we nyansa you ask where na sa sika we free ba adwuma ben na we because the president sitting at the Jubilee House no crowd enya access to this particular money. You understand? But that brings to the fold the aspect of greed on our part. And nipa onim nyansa na wode na kosi sika nim na oye greedy na o wear to the extent that there is no tomorrow. How can one person sit at a buffer stock and steal this huge sums of money? And in the name of opening a contract, a dinner order to two companies, no crowd, how is that for another Benyasem? Just a dinner also started good company, no, and Nina a circular, coming back to him as a person. So you see, the other year and Obian who time will be. President Akuffo Addo, I papa and Kamani Baje. Now Ubenya saw papa president. But it's not about being president. President Akuffo associated with him. Exactly. It is about being president with the responsibility, ensuring that the estate is safeguarded, protected from the likes of these individuals. Because go to your National Service Secretariat and look at the amount of money these people were able to steal. Then you go to Adubuahin and you go to this particular gentleman and Omunim Nyansantino, or yes, Sikana. Sikana go in the bank account, you know, then there is a direct transfer to go and buy a property. Sikana go account, you know, now what transfer scan directly to go and purchase a property in his name. Now, I listened to a very funny argument at one young man BT radio or TV, so he was a confidential and maybe in the end, you know. Sikano involved, no, where did the money go? The money eventually ended up in the gentleman's bank account, and he used the money to purchase properties. On the Kojina estate, no, I can't die in 2023. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame these people. You see, I am worried that last night I catch a corrective measures that we need to adopt. I am putting measures in place. What besides I want to say about saying that these people sitting at these offices were able to steal such huge sums of money. Our system learned to be unflagging out. The laxity in terms of supervision in some of these spaces. Because for Obiote buffer stock at the time now be a supply a problem. Etimia massive this amount of money to himself until say buying better and send at this particular thing air bubble until the chose there was actually a problem. Your governance architecture and the way we've designed it, you know, Obia me the upper fan hoodie. And this is the time for us. That is why I'm more criticizing Attorney General Sobubu they are jokers, because you see there is a governance aspect of this whole thing, because we need to also adopt corrective measures. But when I President Mahama Akase or the new court able to deal with your friend saying the Auditor General report, that is a policy decision, that is a government aspect of it. It is not legal, even though it will end up setting up a court and a legal process will be set in motion. But it is administrative, it is governance, and it is very important for the government or the Attorney General to tell the people of this country, so that we sitting here, no, we are not just discussing the legal aspect, but we are also looking at the policy aspect of it. What measures can be put in place to ensure, say, some of these leakages in the system, no, you bet me silly. Now in the future, unwitting criminals like some of these people will not have access to power and use the same thing to make your friends that particular power as a financial enterprise. Yeah, media and some American and said the Attorney General I can send the next line has to do with the legal aspect, where prosecution must continue unabated. And you see, I keep telling people, say, oh, your Maya. You cannot be weak, you cannot show mercy. And because these are two things you begin to show our mind you are done. And we must make sure, say, a man for Modio Monsabo mind sikam in this particular foolish fashion, you know, will not be let go. We need to deal with them drastically. Say, send a loud message to people in this present government to say, actions in the near our consequences. Nobody is pronouncing him guilty. At the end of the day, if he goes to court, and is able to prove beyond every reasonable doubt as a CEO with me as a company. Now what transfer Sikano as for the form. Now we Sikano got properties in your name, got hotels, at to handbags, every month, 5,000 Ghana cedis. Abra on supply even be dear crowd to your friends a buffer stocker. Then you explain to the court. Another day court to know you go home, you understand? So I think that these are some of the things that we need to do. But over the years, you know, and the president at the time, you know, wasn't interested in some of these things, because after all, me catch us all by and our one casano as a sign of fear for the plan who she so fearful we are. how then do you tell about so for some more? So I know the day, you know, a free gate, I will be the open. So for me, I think that the Attorney General has a duty to ensure some of these prosecutions will continue. And Ghana are not ready to sacrifice that for anything. Now, no, Abrante, Finance Minister, we're going to go to the USC. Asemba, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is dancing around it. Me, my culture say, Office of the Special Prosecutor is a useless creation. Yeah. So it is not about Kisie Jabeng. Many issue, I don't even care. But I say the office, since its inception, has been nothing but a useless creation. Because first of all, whoever tells you that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is an independent office is a joker, because there is nothing independent about his office. If you read the act, it is clearly stated, say, or working at the pleasure of the Attorney General. Yeah. So where lies your independence as a body? Again, Oba Matisa also my recovery in as a form. This is an agency. Financing over 542 million Ghana cedis from 2022 up to now. Sikasa no wetimi age. Onyam fa akokɔ nkɔkɔ ma akokɔ krandi for sensitive issues ba sisila na pa no dimirika na wayɛ press conference na emotional no wakeka nsɛma na ɛno ano no ba wo jampi ko gina ni mu no yes ɔno a wayɛ kɔnɔngo kai yes issues no ba gidi na agu gidi na kanofori atade gidi sa besi nne docket kura ebe containing all the critical facts, because to do extradition, you know, it will have to go through a certain adjudication process in the United States of America, because we forwarded to the DOJ and the State Department in America. After preliminary examination, you know, they will forward it to a magistrate court in America to also do proper examination and ask all the critical questions as to whether even Asemba who accusing the panel, if it is a crime in Ghana, is it a crime in America? If they're able to establish that connection, then another one, is it a politically motivated kind of way? But the critical fact now, the OSP best supply, you know, and a bit to determine that particular thing, and son of the extradition process can go through. There be a press conference, and then a press conference. Now, r0bs. Here we are. You understand? That is why I'm saying that the Attorney General should take a full custody of the Kenoforiata case. Because if there is one issue that Ghanaians are much interested in, if there is an individual Ghana want to hear his side of the story, it is Kenoforiata. Because after all, he was the chief way of all the things that happen in this particular country. So it will be unfair to be prosecuting others and leave him off the hook. And there are those who argue, say, that prosecuting in absentia, court baby say, have you exhausted all the other avenues available? You cannot try him in absentia. You understand? That is why we need to go through this formal process. If failure and answer a snagger, then we can come back and do this particular thing. So I think that President Mahama, in line with his promise to the people of this country, you know, I like the way he's going, because you see the determination on his part to ensure set up a court and ensure that the Attorney General and other team will work in speed, just to ensure some of these monies are recovered. No, I think they're very, very important, because Ghanaians are watching. Ghana for Gina so 2024. Now, some of these cases are and anything. It is about young Sika from a Akuffo Addo. How can one person go? Yes. How can one person steal from the state and use that money to go and buy a property you value at over $2.5 million in Ghana? Are you aware? That is what I'm telling you, say the two miss who show being say young who nipan onimnyansa because no sensible person will do this. Because your politics now be so cheap, say a lot of idiots are climbing to the political platform. And the one pointed when you're careful, you may be tempted to put these fools in a very sensitive position, and they will go and embarrass you. Because no sensible person will be doing the things these guys did. Buying properties with funds from state where we are, when you don't have any other business to prove, say, you are buying properties. When a time will come, you know, say, you can't prove what to me. And they thought, say, a time will never come and you'll be invest. And like I say, you must be a fool to have such, you know, thinking at the back of your mind. Because even it take 20 years to cry now, so, and also lessons to us. Appointment, we must begin to vet individuals and know, because some of these unwitting criminals all over the place stealing as if there was no tomorrow, just like the Japan said, you know. So it affirms the fact that in some you will be kind of the past to say these people were robbing the state. Ghanaians were poor while they were getting richer. People People were in depression. People were dying. Your friend says, we are was DDP. Do you know the number of people who died?
Pensioners, you know.
Mishia Sofubi, your friends at bank. As some catch them, maybe a kind of money so atata. And this is a noble man who none a life for say. People were because Bob was young bar. Nisika so esi bank. I also want to be piabonting. These are the realities of the near man Akuffo. So you don't sit out there and be talking nonsense. Say, oh, and you're political witch hunting. Which political witch hunting? Because no normal person will hear some of these things. And then, your friend saying, National Service Secretariat. Yes, according to the forensic audit, and 500 we na number 10 ha say the daso no you misika no kra ne san almost and then ya agro. Sikana kokodru 2.2 billion. Ewo your first National Service Secretariat.
So I give to on your guilty.
Oh, say na dey obi a betima ka so on your guilty court na be kire. So yeah, I think say you see Attorney General should stay focused, but my message to him say he has to speed up. Because time run fast. Yeah. The expectations of Ghanaians are very high. Who the nipa no court? Now you dear Asemba not know the fact in the nipa no ni for obi ani uni Asemba. But we cannot afford to let these guys go. Anybody are free around say obe negotiating or hen obe pachaw, get them arrested. Because we cannot continue on that particular culture in this country. Now you make it corruption a high risk enterprise. I will be a corner so ordinary because we cannot create a government of our own design. Our mayor na certain agents within will use it as some kind of a profiteering enterprise. Yeah, they make it profit. It can't happen. Let us make sure, say, the red lines, the conventional red lines, they are signed in the sand, and whoever goes beyond that will face the consequences.
All right, Brasolo.
Yeah.
That's the same.